Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Wardlaw, and this is our first bonus track of 2024. I certainly have had plenty of things that I've wanted to share in the bonus track category of things, but it's been a busy, crazy start to the year, and I can't believe that it's June already. As you all know, these years just seem to go by fast and faster. But this is one that I've wanted to share for a while. I had a great long conversation with artist and producer Narada Michael Walden in November of 2023. We were talking about his new album, Euphoria, which came out just a couple weeks later. I'm going to put some links in the episode description, but it's got some music on it that was long in the making, including a pretty incredible collaboration with Sting, Carlos Santana, and Stevie Wonder called The More I Love My Life. And at one point, he had to break away to do another interview, but he says to me, I'll let you know when I'm done and we can continue talking. So we get back on Zoom. I ask him about a few final things. I need to wrap up a story that I was working on. And as you'll hear, the last thing that we spoke about, which I really thought would be a shorter anecdote, was a bit of conversation about Tommy Bolin. Well, Narda opened up about that topic and ends up speaking about working with Tommy for close to 40 minutes. And it was so cool to hear. I know that Tommy Bolin's work is something that more and more people appreciate as the years pass by. He was active for a relatively short time period career-wise compared to his peers due to his tragic death, but the legacy of the work that he did in that time has continued to grow, and it was great to give Narda a chance to speak about his part in Tommy's timeline, and if you're a fellow fan, I think you'll dig this. So thanks for listening, and here's the Tommy Bolin part of my conversation with Narda Michael Walden. We're going to keep this short. I'm going to throw one more thing at you and then we'll wrap. And that just is, it brings us full circle back to the beginning. You mentioned Tommy Bolin as we first started talking. And man, I was listening to some of those live recordings from the tour you did with him and the title track to Teaser. To me, it just shows why Tommy was able to hang with somebody like Billy Cobham. Like, that was like basically like a fusion type rock band. Like you guys were doing absolutely insane stuff on that stage. So I just wanted to kind of throw that back to you. You know, what are you kind of talked about like how things kind of like, went south and you left and all that kind of stuff. But like, what are your favorite memories of playing those shows on that tour? And that's where we'll end.
My favorite memories are first cutting the song called Marching Powder in Jimi Hendrix's studio.
Oh man.
Here I'm live with Sammy Figueroa on congas, who's a genius. David Sanborn on alto sax, who's genius. My first time looking across the room and seeing Jan Hammer, who's genius.
Jan, yeah.
My first time looking across in the studio now with Tommy to record, who was very hot with Spectrum, Billy Cobham's album. Also on bass with Stanley Sheldon, who's really a force because he could hold it down with all this power coming at him. Because we were throwing it around in odd meters. As you know, marching powder ain't no joke.
Yeah.
But Sheldon was able to hold it together, so I had to give him a lot of love. At the helm was Dennis Mackay, who I cut Inner Worlds with Mahavishnu Orchestra. Here he's back there in Jimi Hendrix's studio. I'm sitting at Mitch Mitchell's spot. I'm sitting where Buddy Miles sat. I'm sitting in the same spot where I recorded Visions of Emerald Beyond with Mahavishnu Orchestra, cutting Cosmic Strut and Eternity's Breath, Leela's Dance, Journey Back Home to Earth. I mean, that incredible music. Here I'm now in the same spot again. I feel like Muhammad Ali as I talk, but it's true. So we ran the song one time to learn it. And then they recorded that. We did it a second time. And I think what you're hearing is probably the first take. Something like that. Because I've heard there's another take floating around, but that wasn't the one on the record. It was just so hot that I think our first take is it. And at that time I was really faster than I am now. Now I'm more rock and I'm older, more seasoned. But at that time I'm more kid energy, and wanting to prove to you that I'm mean and bad and get back. Yeah. Whoever you think you are, get back.
I've never had somebody brandish a thing of Windex at me like a weapon. That's good.
Yeah, it's true. And I think also being there with Jan Hammer, knowing how mean he is with Bill Cobb when I saw him the first time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think also put some sauce on that thing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that Tommy Bolin had a very relaxed way of playing. That's what I want people to know about him. Like I work with a lot of different people. Everyone's different. Some people are really intense, but Tommy wasn't intense. It could sound intense on a playback, maybe like, you know, but really in cutting with him and working with him on stage, it was always an air of like, hey, it's cool. Hey, it's cool. And that's how everything always felt with Tommy. Like, do what you do. He never tried like, there are a lot of musicians who want to tell you what to do.
Sure.
And inevitably dampens me. I'm no good with that. I need to be able to just do what I do and be brilliant if I can be brilliant. With Tommy, that's why I liked playing with him. He let me be brilliant. If I could be brilliant, he loved it. Hey man, just do what you do. I like you, you like me. Let's have fun together. That was a spirit like kids, and I like that. Like Mitch Mitchell with Hendrix was just like fun, you know. Blah, 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 blah. And I got to a place with him after we cut marching powder, and we just finally met up in LA at SIR to do the rehearsal, 1 week of rehearsal before our touring with him. That's when I realized it was going to be good because the band was special. It was a cat named Reggie McBride on bass who had played with Stevie Wonder.
Wow.
You know, like the Superstition record, some of that album. This is the cat named Reggie McBride in his touring band. So he's rock solid. And Detroit, like Ralph Armstrong and James Jamerson, there's a certain IQ that those cats have that is unspoken. So I loved him. On organ is a hero of my childhood. From Set Me Free, why don't you, baby? But you, baby. You know, with Carmen Appice, Mark Stein on organ, Timmy Bolin on fucking bass, and whoever the cat played the guitar, Vinny, whoever it was.
Yeah.
Vanilla Fudge.
Yeah.
I don't know where you come from. When we heard Vanilla Fudge for the first time, I was like, uh-oh. They put everybody back. Because they could do it. Clap. Soft and soft. You know, they had all this power dynamics.
Absolutely
and
insane.
Chops and soul. Had the guts to do a song like the Supremes, Motown, and funk it out with like Detroit style, Grand Funk Railroad style. They were mean. So to have him in the band was like, uh-oh, anything could happen.
Yeah.
And then we had a girl from Detroit who I met through Ralph Armstrong, who actually did some work with Mob Orchestra, named Norma Jean Bell. And Tommy said, well, who do you know we should have? I said, man, you already got David Sanborn playing on this thing. How about Norma Jean Bell, who can sing and do some stuff with you on the stage? They were like mashed potatoes and gravy. Norma Jean and Tommy Bell, the Tommy Bull, but they were just like perfect. And then Tommy's style in the rehearsals was very like, hey, what do you want to get into? No, I want you to write a song. I want you to write a song for the band. Okay. So on one rehearsal day, I go to the piano where Mark had set up, and in a matter of 5-10 minutes, wrote delightful. Your love is boom, 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 a delightful bam, bam, dum, 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 shake it, dum, 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 dum. So boom, boom, a delightful bam, bam. And I said, Tommy, okay, how about this? Din, 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 din. Learn this, and we learned it. We played like, wow, it might be a hit. Who knows? So that was something I added to the band, and then learning all the album that he put together. And then when I got strong after the first 2 or 3 days of rehearsing. By the 4th or 5th day, I was a beast. And our first shows on the East Coast at my father's place, well, there's a word for it. When you play at a place where you can't play any higher, you can't
like transcendent, right?
You can't hit any harder. You can't give any more. That's what it was after rehearsals in our first shows. It was just like almost more than you could handle as a band.
Yeah.
As a listener, if I was in the audience, I'd be like, damn. It was like that. but yet relaxed, because Tommy's so relaxed. Space. Space. Space in this music. It all has space. So you could have, I can have time to fill it in and I had to react on it and play some my thing. It wasn't like he was playing constantly. No. Big holes. So it'd be like, wow, what's gonna happen? Like a prize fight, fly. You know what I mean? Then, oh, bam! See? There'd be room like that. So that's what it was with Tommy. There'd be room to like throw an uppercut, knock a cat out. And then we came out through Denver, played his hometown Denver, a little joint down, a basement type restaurant, whatever it was, knocked the paint off that place. Did a big festival where his manager, Barry Fay, some big thing. I know it was big. I don't know where it was though. Astrodome, might have been in the Astrodome, something big. Barry Fay put it together. Then we also went out to LA. That's my most memorable show. A place called the Roxy on Sunset. And that show is with me to this day because of this. And all musicians will understand what I mean when I say this. At the Roxy, it's a smaller place, a smaller stage. And the best of LA and Hollywood, they want to come to those type of shows. Even though Bolin wasn't a big, big star, the buzz was out. And the place was packed. And what do I go and do and look up to my right? There's a balcony, a very small balcony, just enough for like 2 chairs in the balcony. And guess who's sitting up in those 2 chairs?
Who was it?
Billy Cobham and George Duke.
Oh, man.
And looking right down on me where they could see everything I'm doing. And if you're a musician, that will make you sweat. If you're not a musician, make you sweat. But if you're a musician, that made me sweat. I was like, I knew he was badass band. I knew he was badass. But Cobham to me has got such a place in my heart because where I've seen him go, when I see him as an astronaut go to places that I've seen no man go. I mean, I love Buddy Rich. I love Mitch Mitchell. I love every drummer. But let me just tell you right now, there is nobody, including Tony Williams. Yep, I'll say it. Tony was genius. Tony set the bar so high, we still can't get to it. But what I saw Cobham do with Mahavishnu, and the power, and the finesse, and the endurance, it's unheard of. It's unheard of. We've never seen the likes of it to this day. And I know that. So to have him look down upon me, put me in a zone that was just like I had to think about what my guru taught me. He said, if you not compete with Billy Cobham, you will not win. Be the best of you. So having him stare down upon me with George Duke brought the best of me out. And I played with every bit of fiber I had on Tommy Bolin's live music, teaser, delightful, all that stuff that you talked about. And we did, I think, our very best show. And then in the backstage area, I'll never forget it. Here's Tommy, super high with his feathers, little blue. He always wore beautiful feathers. He was so divine, like a living God. Just had it. Just so cool, And his beautiful lady named Karen, Asian lady named Karen, gorgeous. I had a beautiful lady with me named Lynn, who was just so sweet in her kimono. And everyone was just so loving. And I turn around backstage and here's Billy Cobham. And I'm like, oh God, And I reach out to touch his hand, and his hand feels like a baby. No, literally. Like some children's hands are really super soft. And you think, how can your hand be that soft with all the fire you play with? He was like, well, let me show you, give me a pair of his drumsticks. Let me show you my technique, what I do. It's not my hands at all. He takes a pair of drumsticks and he says, and he gives my hands, I'm playing with my fingers. So it's not really my hands so much at all. And that's what he tried to show me. It was beyond me. But that's what he was trying to do. That is all his fingers, not the hands. So, man, God, your palms are like a baby. And he said, you know what? I said, what? He said, you were hitting so hard tonight, you were knocking the paint off them drums. Thank you, Mr. Cobb. I have never received in my life a compliment like that. You were knocking the paint off them drums. I've never heard anyone ever talk like that. And we kind of became best friends in that my adoration was so high. What he saw me put on with his guy. So you got to know, Cobb loves Bolin. Let me tell you one more thing why I'm going to say this to you, and then I'm going to wrap it off. I interviewed Billy, like you're interviewing me right now. I had a show called All In with Narada Michael Walden. You got to watch one part of it. And I say, Billy, he's having an ice cream cone on one side, looking at his ice cream cone. And I'm on the other side as the interviewer with my hat on, you know. And I'm like, well, Billy, I have to ask you because your technique and what you played on this particular album is so flawless. Not even to mention, Vital Transformation. The funk on steroids. Bernard Purdy meets Superman. What you got into. Not even mention that. The double bass drum work and the pattern that you thought of on Birds of Fire. The way you hit the simple jigga jigga ga jigga jigga ga jigga 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 ga. That is unheard. We never knew anything of that world. But you're so confident with it. And what John was playing, what you got into on that album, in particular Birds of Fire. He's like, yeah. But let's talk about Spectrum and a young kid who was 19 years old named Tommy Bolin, who did not disappoint. Okay. Now I plan on getting in the Spectrum, but he just jammed right in. He just dropped Birds of Fire and wanted to know all about Spectrum. Tell me all about Tommy Bolin.
It's the way it goes sometimes.
Who I spent time with. I knew him, Tommy Bolin. So I'm just telling you that because Bolin is such a big part of Billy Cobham's heart to this day.
Yeah.
You mentioned Birds of Fire or the genius work. It's like, no. Let me talk about Tommy Bolin. And okay. And off he went on Tommy Bolin. So what am I trying to tell you, man? Bolin's got a lot of fans in the world, and rightfully so. Let me say one more last thing because I did a lot of work with Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
Jeff, be with me on this. Jeff Beck and I did touring with Mahavishnu Orchestra and his band. He had Bernard Purdy, Max Middleton, and on bass, the great bass player. Help me out. From Wired. He played on Wired too.
Oh, sure. Yeah. 1 second, I'll look it up.
Yeah. So anyway, he toured with that band, and I toured with Mahavishnu, and we jammed together every night. Both bands would jam together, which would be a phenomenon into its own. To hear Beck.
Wilbur Bascom.
That's it, Wilbur Bascom, who is another genius to me. I'm just being straight up. There's hardly any other bass player who could just be that tight with a drummer like a Wilbur Bascom. It's just like a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. He's a phenomenon. Like he could just psychically know what a drummer's going to play and play it like a glove. No matter whatever you go do, he's there. So, and Bernard Purdy discovered him, brought him on the scene. So he's Bernard's guy, and they're killing it with Jeff. And I'm realizing what is making Jeff so popular, because Blow by Blow was a big album now and a big ticket draw. And I'm there every night watching him do these shows, and I'm realizing what it is. Jeff has stumbled onto this combination of dirt funk bottom with what I call a penthouse view. It's pretty and sweet. Stevie Wonder is sweet on top. Those melodies are from straight out of Stevie's songbooks. But the bottom end is intentionally funky, intentionally like kind of nasty and black.
Yeah.
And that combination gave him room to kind of do his thing in between everything with all the tricks he knows, which are like a bountiful of tricks, that he's got. But really, at the core of it is his sensibility of melody. Beck is a melody wizard. Something I kind of really got what it was about him. And and then writing songs for Wired. We learned lead boots, which they had me rehearsed in his basement. He says, I need more material. It wasn't hard for me to write. Come Dancing, Sophie, Play With Me. Even I had Love Is Green because I watched him live so much that I knew it had to be funky on the bottom, kind of dirty and move around like Motowny. And the top end had to be this kind of sweet melodies where you weren't really sure where it was going to go, but it was always like very melodic. So I was able to kind of nail some stuff for him in the writing department. And then fast forward years later, we did a show together at the Rainforest. He did Hendrix, Purple Haze with Sting, and then did Superstition with Patti LaBelle.
Wow.
Why? I'm telling you, man, it just blew the damn roof off the damn Carnegie Hall. I don't know if you know Jeff Beck, but he wants the sound to be like a damn motorcycle, to be like just something unearthly, ungodly, We have never survived what he put down. So it was meaning after that show, he said, I'm putting out a new album, kind of a classic album where I want versatility in the drumming, emotion, commotion. He said, would you like to tour with me? I said, sure. I'm waiting for your phone call. I said, Jeff, I'm waiting for you to call me for 30 years to play live with you again. 30 years. And I went to LA and he said, do you have a bass player? I said, everybody wants to play with you. How about Marcus Miller? Mm-hmm. I said, Ralph Armstrong. I said, mm-hmm. He said, I kind of like a female.
Yeah.
Oh. I said, what about Rhonda from Prince's band, Rhonda Smith? Although I didn't know her that well, I knew she had to be mean to play with Prince because Prince ain't joking around. He's a bass fanatic. He said, that sounds kind of good. Can you contact her? I said, I'll do my best. He said, I'll bring over Jason from Europe and I'll meet you in LA. You bring Rhonda and we'll jam in LA. So I found Rhonda and we got together. We played Spectrum. We played a lot of, just jamming stuff. And it was just like immediately on. Immediately, I called Rhonda Earth Mother because she made everything feel good. She's a woman who understands intuitively how the music should feel. And her timing is wonderful. So that meant I could kind of do my thing and not worry about it. She'd be there. Jason could do his thing and he'd be there. I remember taking a solo at one point on Spectrum, whatever it was. Although I'm not Cobb, I did my own kind of thing with my bass drums and whatever. And then Jeff was like, and then Jason was like, and it was good enough for me to get the gig. And we went out and did some touring together. We did like a lot of touring over 2.5 years together, man. Oh my God, so much work.
What a gift.
So much work to be with him, and watch and see how much he would play every day. On the bus, off the bus, backstage. And kind of get to know him better now. Now we're more grown up, not just kids anymore. And he would tell me things about Tommy Bolin because he knew that I worked with Tommy Bolin. And he told me that he was with Tommy the night Tommy died.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he was, him and Jan Hammer were on tour. And Tommy couldn't make because he died, They were touring together. And Tommy was a big inspiration on him. I mean, there were things that Tommy got into musically where Tommy was able to kind of hybrid Hendrix and hybrid the blues of the current cats into things that became fodder for Jeff. Be with me, Jeff. I mean, there were only a few guys I think that could play a thing that would turn Jeff on. And Bolin was one. I think like not a teacher, but another Regal Royal cat that was like, in Jeff's eyes, right on par. Like Steve Ray Vaughan came the same kind of way. Playing it so strong, it's like, damn. Like Jimmy's gone to heaven, but this cat is bringing it forward. And so did Bolin. And here's Jeff. And I think Jeff needed to hear these young cats taking all that older information in the new manifestation. Because I believe in evolution. I believe the new cats take what we did and morph it into something that's like even more death-defying. Like now, when I watch drummers on YouTube, there's fragments of things I kind of started. But now it's like part of the bloodstream. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. What I used to think that was so special is now everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it. So anyway, to give Tommy his credit, I know he really inspired Jeff.
Oh man.
And I know that Jeff really loved Jimmy. Let me say one thing about it before you close up on that one. I'm a Hendrix fanatic, but Jimmy loved Jeff Beck. Jimmy told Chaz Chandler, I will only go to the UK, to London, which doesn't make sense to me to go over there. They already got so much heat over there. Why should I even try to go over there? But Chaz convinced him. And then he said, well, you know what? If I can meet Eric Clapton, if I can meet Jeff Beck, I'll go. Chaz said, I know Clapton. I know Jeff Beck. So off Jimmy went. And you know, in the first week, Chaz Chandler was able to pull it off for Jimmy to go to the Cream concert, which is not, the Cream is God.
Oh yeah.
And Chaz is able, because he's Chaz Chandler, big shot with the Animals, to bring Hendrix backstage on Encore, talk Clapton and Jack Bruce into bringing him on stage, plugging into Jack's bass amp. Ginger Baker wasn't having it. Ginger Baker was like, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. We're the fucking Cream. We ain't bringing nobody on the stage. But for some reason, God was in charge and told Eric and told Jack, let him go on and play. And they did. And the song that Jimmy chose to do was something that Eric felt was really, really a difficult song. So that Jimmy would choose that song already got Eric like intrigued, right? He chose Killing Floor. Do you know the song called Killing Floor?
Absolutely, yeah.
He chose to play Killing Floor. And not only did he play it, he did all the bags of tricks on it. He was like stellar behind his head with his teeth, behind his legs, rolling around but then just standing, but just blowing the blues so hard that it actually shook Eric. It shook him. That's how devastating Hendrix was at that time. To the point where after they went off stage, Chaz Chandler tells a story that he saw Eric trying to light a cigarette and was like this, trying to light a cigarette.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really, like a...
That's heavy.
Yeah. That's how it first collided. And it was so powerful that the word spread from that. That this dude came on stage with the Cream, who Clapton is God, and threw down.
Yeah.
Word spread just from that. And then whatever Jimmy was going to be doing after that, people started packing to see him. Mick Jagger, the word got through to Beck, word got through to Pete Townsend, word got through to whoever the hot shots are. And Jimmy, again, did not disappoint. He was like doing a thing that they all loved, which was the blues, but he was so fresh with it that he became an overnight sensation. So I got to say that. Fast forward me playing with Jeff on my last tours with him, I wanted to do, and he wanted to do Little Wing. I wanted to sing it and play it, and he wanted to play it. But I saw the reverence he had for what Jimmy put down on Little Wing. And Jeff would not play it live for like a long time. For many months, he rehearsed it. And God, it's just how he liked it to sound. I mean, I'm talking about 3 to 4 to 5 months we rehearsed Little Wing. And
Wow.
we broke it out heavy at the Isle of Wight, where Jimmy had last played, one of the last shows. And there's footage on it's footage. And it's incredible, man, because Beck, you could see how much he loved Jimmy, and I loved Jimmy. And he said at the top, he said, I want to do this for Jimmy. And he busts into it. But it's not Hendrix now, it's Beck. But it's Beck doing his style. And taking the time to really learn what Jimmy played on the inside. Because Jimmy's had his different versions of it upside down. It is true testimony to how much we love Jimmy. People didn't understand at the time how great he was. But if we think that John Coltrane is great, if you think that Miles Davis is great, if you think that Leonard Bernstein and Aaron Copland and Stravinsky and all these people who we think are great, there's been no greater one than Hendrix. I'm sorry. I stand by that. I recall being in the car in John McLaughlin's BMW, driving around Queens. with him blasting Band of Gypsies. And I look at his face as he would hear. And I could see him being transfixed by what Hendrix is playing. And this is John McLaughlin I'm talking about, who ain't scared of nothing.
Nope.
I'm here to tell you, man, Hendrix did some stuff that's like, to this day, we don't know what it is. And I'll tell you one more quick thing. Miles had never seen Hendrix live, or even on film. And when Bobby should realize it, well, you know what? There's a film. I'll take you right now in the village right now and show you. And took Miles Davis down there to see the film. And John tells the story that all Miles Davis could do was say, damn. Through the whole film, he's watching Hendrix going, damn. I mean, profound effect he had on people. I know I had it in my little Kalamazoo playing them, hearing Purple Haze for the first time. I was like, what is this? Because I mean, I knew the Who, like I Can See for Miles and Miles and all that. I knew stuff, but I never heard of like Purple Haze before. Lord, man. And then I hear Carlos Santana tell his story. Carlos Santana tells his story. They both played Woodstock together. And Jimmy's comment to Carlos was, great choice of notes. Great choice of notes. And then they met up in New York, where Jimmy was getting out of the cab going to the, Hitsville, where he was recording the Electric Lady album, whatever he's doing the great recording. It wasn't his studio yet. And then told Jimmy, why don't you get a cab and come around to my joint later, you know? Carlos felt very honored that he would ask him to do that. And Carlos said he went to the session, and when he got there, the whole room was packed with people. Just packed. You could barely even get in. And here's Kramer at the desk. And Jimmy's out, beyond the glass with his back turned to everybody and just getting massive, massive feedback on the amp. Just like explosive. I mean, to hear Carlos tell this story, you need to hear him tell you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to he says this. He says, and the sounds he was into and what he was doing was so out there. And he said, and Narada, it went up for so long that the tape ran out. But he's so into it. And the whole room is packed with people are just like glued to what he's doing. We're watching history, basically. And he said that the engineer, Eddie, said to Carlos, I think I'm going to go in there and just tap him on the shoulder. Because it was just going on for so long now. So Carlos said, I felt brave enough to walk behind Eddie and go out there with him. And Carlos says that when they touched Jimmy on the shoulder and Jimmy turned back around, he said his whole face was so full of tears. Carlos said to me, he said, I wanted Narada, but not nearly as bad as he wanted. If you know Carlos Santana, Carlos always wants it.
Yeah.
Him and tell me that he didn't want it as bad as this man wanted it. That's otherworldly, man. And that gives me the fuel to tell you why I feel the way I feel this day. When I watch him play jam back at the house at Woodstock, not even a heralded piece, but it's so complicated. It's so deep. And the rhythms he gets in are so African. He's puffing a cigarette and he's playing his rhythm like a train. And it goes on. And then he decides to solo on top of it and just wail. Ain't nobody playing that kind of thing, man. That was way back in 1970 when it was. To this day, ain't nobody playing that bullshit, man. Nobody. I adore him. I adore him. And how he made way for people like myself to merge musics together. Merge Curtis Mayfield. Have you ever been? Have you ever been to Electric Lady? So beautiful. Backwards echoes and things we had never heard before. Tape flipped over, all things he got into. You didn't know where it was going to come from, where the sound was going to come from. And then be so raunchy with Steve Winwood on organ. Just things he got into, so beautiful. Anyway, I'm gonna have to dash. They're calling me again.
Let me let you dash. Thank you, sir.
Forgive me. Love you, honey. We're gonna wrap my interview right now. It's a big interview I've been on. Oh gosh, you can't be. Damn. Yeah, I'm wrapping it right now. I'm still on it. Wrapping it right now. Bye-bye. Anyway, I just want you to know some of these things that if I don't tell you, you won't know. And you're a classic rock. And I want everyone to know that the people who we love are for a good reason. And we should keep loving them. Because what they put down was so sincere. They lived it. It's not some fluke. It's not some whatever. It's the real deal. And people who are living like Carlos to this day tell me it was a real deal. John McLaughlin would tell me it was a real deal. People who I know who are living, like Eric Clapton. I went to Sting's wedding. It's the picture up here at his castle on his 10th year anniversary. Everybody's there. I wore my back jacket, a painting of Hendrix. Guess who's standing behind me in line to go on stage and jam? Guess.
Any number of people from Hendrix's world. Who was it?
Eric Clapton.
Oh, it was Eric. Nice.
I say to him, the man on the back of my jacket really loved you. Because I know, and I really loved him. Just like that. There was the connection again. We go on the stage, we play with Steve Winwood, Give Me Some Lovin'. But Eric won't solo. He does not even want to solo. He just plays the rhythm. And Steve sings his heart out, we play it, and the whole place is captivated, from Dustin Hoffman to my man's filming Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks, Sting, of course. Everyone was there. I kept expecting, Eric to go off and just blow it down. Anyway, I'm just sharing with you these things that they keep coming to me that reinforce the great love for Hendrix, the great love for Bolin, the great love for the cats who love the blues, but not just love the blues, were able to take it and put electricity on the blues and psychedelicize the blues and take the blues to a place where that's beyond anything. Like when we see pictures of outer space and nebulae and all, it's so cosmic. That's what they went to. So I have such great reverence for it all. Great reverence for it all. How Jimmy took Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and shoved it in the face of Paul McCartney live.
Oh, yeah.
3 days after it came out. The balls, the gall.
All of it.
and me and McCartney think, damn, maybe we should go back and cut it and recut it.
My God, man.
And it took McCartney to get Jimmy over here on the show at Monterey, down here in California, where he burnt the guitar and blew it out so strong it became an international star. It wasn't Paul McCartney got him to that show. Anyway, man, all love to Pete Townsend, who Jimmy loved and told that same show. If I have to, what did he say about Pete? If I have to open for you or close for you or whatever it is, I got to pull all the stops out, Pete. I got to pull all the stops out because you're the Who. You're known for pulling all the stops out, tearing everything up, going crazy, and we all know your music. If I got to be on the same stage with you, I got to pull the stops out. He's talking to Pete as he's playing the guitar and standing on a chair, talking to Pete. And Pete's listening to him, and that's the show that he went out there and pulled the stops out. I'm going to sacrifice my guitar. I've got the can of fluid, fuel, and making the guitar howl. And I got the picture in my bathroom right now from Jim Marshall's keeping the flame alive and his Hendrix, the guitar burning.
That's so cool.
Anyway, man, I love all that stuff. I love the people that love the music, like you, keeping it alive. And Euphoria is my new album. There'll be many more to come. I'm still young and sexy. I love
hearing that.
I want to do a Hendrix tribute album where I do my version of Jam Back at the House.
Oh, hell yeah.
With Vishnu and all that. Some of these new cats are mean out there. I'll grab them up.
I love that, man.
Yeah, I want to do that. I like to do that. And I like to do a lot of great things while I still feel excited. Yeah.
Well, thank you for this time. I got a lot of your records in my collection. productions or otherwise. And you mentioned your all in thing. I'm glad that there's those all in episodes that are out there, because the same kind of conversation you and I are having, you're a music fan at heart, and people can overdose on all that. There's lots of your musics out there. And so I'm glad you started doing that all in thing. So thanks for mentioning that. But
Thank you very
let me
much.
let you run, man.
Where are you located? Where are you?
I'm in Cleveland.
Stay in touch with me. You know, we used to stay at a place called the Swingos.
Oh yeah, Swingos.
That was a hot shot, man. Because you know why we stayed there? Ray Charles stayed there.
Oh hell yeah!
Famous because Ray Charles was staying at Swingos. Well, that's what Ray Charles stayed. You got to stay at Swingos. And then also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I want to be in there honored one year. But my drumsticks are in there. I'm in the wherever they keep the drumsticks. But I want to be honored. And I think one of the guys said I might have a better shot of being in there as a part of the Mahavishnu Orchestra. But I want to be in there as a drummer, every damn thing. I want to be everything. I want everyone to love me. I want all the love now. Tell them what I said, man.
I'll pass the word, man. Well, have a good night on that side, man, and thank you for the time. This has been a lot of fun.
Okay, God bless.
I'll see you. Bye-bye.